Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Tylearn, and today we are going to be doing what if Beerus woke up early / also what if Goku got God Key earlier. This what if took me a little bit of time to try and set up, but thanks to the idea from Supersavage and some brainstorming with Aventie, I know a perfect way how to set this what if up. And if you guys want to see what ifs that aren't just my own, you can go and check out those two channels out in the description down below. With that out of the way though, ladies and gentlemen, let's dive into this what if, and I hope you guys do enjoy.
Hey, collecting rings like I'm Sonic. Bitches wanna party. My wrist getting heavy, so I got 'em on a diet, yeah. Flex like I'm Hogan. The Obi's coming over. We respect.
We start our story off with our Z fighters preparing for the Cell games. While this is going on, Beerus wakes up rambling about a Super Saiyan God, and like in canon would see Goku, who was the very first Super Saiyan and also defeated Frieza. Whis also informed of Vegeta being on Earth along with Goku and Vegeta's kids. Beerus and Whis traveled down to Earth, and these two would approach Goku's house. Goku would go out in his SSJ form naturally and ask what do these two want. They explain why they are here, and Goku says how he has no clue of a Super Saiyan God, but he has Super Saiyan, and like in canon would try and fight Beerus. He powers up and tries to hit Beerus, but fails and just easily gets flicked into base form. Gohan then rushes to make sure Goku is okay, and Goku would be alive, but just knocked into an unconscious state. Beerus and Whis then ask Gohan if he knows anything, and Gohan would say no, as Chi-Chi would yell at Beerus to not dare try and disrespect them on their own property, as she tries to smack Beerus. Beerus smacks her back, and this would enrage Gohan, similar to how this enrages Vegeta in canon. So much so that Gohan even taps into his rage and uses Super Saiyan 2 briefly to try and combat Beerus. He manages to impress Beerus a little bit, but he just throws an actual punch this time, and Gohan would just get knocked out into base. After this, he goes around trying to ask the other Saiyans and proceeding to slap them as well. After this, Goku and Gohan and Chi-Chi would wake up, and Goku would get the idea of using the Dragon Balls just like in canon, and they would summon Shenron and get the idea of using the ritual. After Vegeta and Trunks both tried getting enraged after Bulma was slapped by Beerus, just like how Beerus slapped Chi-Chi, these two simply just weren't enough to stop Beerus, and Beerus slaps both of them as well. And Beerus' patience is slowly dwindling away as he's getting ready to think about destroying the planet, but Goku stops them saying he knows how to summon the Super Saiyan God. Initially, the Saiyans group around each other, and the group is Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, present Trunks, and future Trunks, and when they try to give Goku the God power, he would just get amped, and they forgot an extra Saiyan. Now, this is when Chi-Chi reveals to everybody, including Goku as well, that she's pregnant with Goten, which she wanted to save for a surprise, but I guess now is a better time than any. And before some of you get mad, shut up. We do know that Chi-Chi did have Goten around this time because, Goten was born a year after Trunks, and we do know that he was born after Goku died. So it's pretty reasonable to assume Chi-Chi is pregnant with Goten around this time, and when they try to do the ritual, but this time with Chi-Chi, it works, and Goku emerges in the Super Saiyan God state. Like in canon, he would surpass literally anything in Z, and would give Beerus a satisfying fight. Beerus would spare the planet just like in canon, and he would promise to come back to Earth to, try out some good foods from Bulma, because that's how Bulma actually managed to stall Beerus and Whis just for a little bit after Vegeta and Trunks got clapped. Like in canon, Goku absorbs his power into his base form, and Cell would have been watching all of this going down. I mean, Beerus and Goku, to be fair, were destroying the universe, so I think it would be kind of impossible for Cell not to notice. However, the best thing he could really do is just train in preparation for the Cell games, which makes him slightly stronger, but this doesn't matter because his first opponent would be Goku, whose base form surpasses this version of Cell. And so Goku would just be comfortably fighting the Cell in his base form, and Cell would even try and go into that super weird buff state that he did against Gohan because of how mad he is. I mean, Goku is literally saucing on this man worse than what Gohan did, and Gohan would finish him off with the Kamehameha, unlike Gohan, who would get cocky in the fight, and would erase every single piece of Cell this time. Vegeta would train with Beerus for a couple of months due to Beerus exchanging foods with Bulma and stuff like that, just so Vegeta can train. However, Goku would see this, and Goku would tag along, just like in canon, and they would have 7 years to literally absorb God Key and master the blue state, and so by the end of the 7-year time skip, they more than likely would have been able to control Super Saiyan Blue to the point to where they can just turn it on and off like how they do in the Goku Black arc and how they slap Goku Black with by minimizing the stamina drain of Blue and maximizing the strength by flicking it on and off in the instance of an attack. Now, time to time, I do believe that Goku would be training on Earth, which would lead into Goten and Piccolo getting a lot more powerful. However, I think Gohan as well would even increase his strength because of the fact that Beerus was so much more powerful than even the power that Goku was banking on to defeat Cell. And now that their gods around and stuff like that, and I think Piccolo would even advise Gohan to try and at least tap into that potential, just in case if one of these threats ever pressed Goku and Vegeta, Gohan would have to be the next line of defense. He, Piccolo, and Goten specifically. And so Gohan would nod, and he would manage to find a balance in this timeline. However, I do believe somebody would surpass him during this time skip because he's committed to training, and that person is Goten. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. How could Goten be stronger than Gohan? Okay, first of all, Gohan isn't even training that much. He's training from time to time to keep up this strength. At best, he would be just as strong as his teen self. As for Goten, however, he is training throughout all 7 years. As for Goten, he's training throughout all the 7 years and would probably be training with Goku more than Gohan would be training with Goku because there might be times where he has to study instead of training. Meaning Goten is training with a god-level character. So Goten's gains would definitely be a lot more exponential than Gohan. Gohan would still fall in love with Videl, and Trunks would have been training with the other Z fighters, but because Vegeta is just mostly on Beerus' planet, he would be the weakest for sure. Now, by the end of the time skip, Vegeta and Goku, like I said, would have been mastered blue by this point, and I think Vegeta believes this is the perfect time to challenge Kakarot and wanting to settle the score once and for all. Goku smirks as he then gets in a fighting position, and so does Vegeta, and the two would then clash on Beerus' planet. They would have gradually went up the Super Saiyan forms as they went on fighting, eventually reaching blue. This would force Goku to use his ace in the hole, which is the Kaioken technique, and he would use it for a brief second to combo Vegeta, which would be more than enough to defeat him. Vegeta admits Goku is number 1, but he is still going to catch up and not be left in the dust completely. I mean, if Goku didn't have the Kaioken, they would have more than likely stalemate. Now, like in canon, ladies and gentlemen, the World Tournament Saga would begin, but this time Spolpovich and Yamu don't absorb Gohan's energy or don't wait for that specific moment. Rather, what they do is when they see Goten and Trunks fighting each other and Goten reveals his Super Saiyan 2 state to Trunks, and this is when they would drain Goten's energy, which would be way more exponential than the Gohan that they drained of in canon. Meaning, this energy more than likely would probably free Buu. I mean, Goten's been training with a god-based Goku, so I think it makes sense here. And because of this, Buu is released on the spot, and I think the first thing that happens is Goten versus Buu, which Goten wants to have happen considering he's the reason Buu was freed, and thanks to Goten being healed by Kibito, he would have recovered his energy, and this would allow Goten to unironically beat Buu up. He feels responsible for this, and so he believes he needs to end this, and he would power up a full-powered Super Saiyan 2 Kamehameha wave, while Majin Buu, enraged, would fire off his own Kamehameha wave. Goten would be surprised that Buu managed to copy this technique, which would off-guard him, and this would force Buu to actually win the clash and nearly kill Goten, but that is when Goku would rush Goten out of there, making sure the beam doesn't hit Goten, and so the beam would just fly off into space. Goku would say to Goten that he fought hard, and if he didn't get off-guarded, he would have definitely won that fight, but he'll take it from here, as Goku would then power up into his new state, Super Saiyan Blue. Goku would easily dodge all of Buu's punches, and just a few punches would wear Buu down. However, Goku would finish it off with a Warp Kamehameha that would prove to be too much for Buu, turning him into dust. After this, they would have over a year to train for the next threat. However, that's when Shin and Kibito would stop Goten specifically and ask him if he would like to train on the world of the Kais. Goten would accept, however, he would call out his buddy Trunks to come over, and Trunks would then, introduce himself to the Supreme Kais, and Goten would say he would like his friend to come along as well. And so, Goten and Trunks are then teleported off into the world of the Kais, Goten and Trunks training in the Kai realm, and after shortly training with the Z Sword, it would break, releasing the Elder Kai. After he's caught up with the other Kais as to what's going on, they would get their inner potential unlocked and be ridiculously powerful, Goten especially. These two were already far stronger than the Gohan who fought in the World Tournament, and now they just got amped even further. I forgot to also mention that Goten and Trunks would also recommend that they should bring Piccolo along, as Piccolo did mentor them throughout the 7 years, so I think it's only fair for them to also repay the favor by getting him an amp as well, and so he would also train with Goten and Trunks, unlocking his potential. While this was happening, Frieza would have been revived like in canon and trained for 4 months. Eventually, he would land on Earth with Goten sensing something off on Earth, and he and Piccolo use Kai Kai to go and check it out, with Trunks also being there as well, and they arrived to see Frieza. The other Z fighters also arrived to, deal with the fodder. Goten, Piccolo, and Trunks all power up into their ultimate forms, and Goten would rush at Frieza while Piccolo takes on Togama, and Trunks would take on Shisami, and the rest deal with the fodder Frieza soldiers that are Raditz level, so they just easily take them out. Trunks would swiftly defeat Shisami along with Piccolo defeating Togama in this timeline, and Goten would force Frieza to using his final form, and he would then force Frieza to then use his golden form. However, I would still think Goten in this timeline could prove to be kind of at least a decent fight for Golden Frieza. I mean, think about it. He not only is stronger than Ultimate Gohan, he's been training constantly, and in general should just be getting more gains than Gohan ever did. However, for the sake of the video, I'll just say he's relative with Golden Frieza, but Golden Frieza can just output slightly more power. And in the end, Goku and Vegeta still teleport and arrive on the scene when sensing Goten's power. When they arrive, Vegeta would suggest to Goku that he would take on Frieza this time due to Goku not only taking on Beerus but also Majin Buu first. Goku would allow Vegeta to do this, and so now it's Vegeta's turn to show Frieza how strong he's gotten. Instead of Frieza being stronger than Goku and Vegeta, this time Vegeta and Goku would be stronger than Frieza, and Vegeta not being arrogant this time would just obliterate Frieza with the Gallic Gun. After this, the Universe 6 arc happens, with Goten replacing Majin Buu, and we have Goku and Vegeta still going into the time chamber, as they would be trying to break their limits since they have been at this consistent level of Super Saiyan Blue for a long time now. They would be stronger than their TOP selves in terms of, Super Saiyan Blue power, but they don't really have any transformations like Kaioken or Blue Evolution just yet. However, they should be pretty close to achieving it given the fact that they've been Super Saiyan Blue for years now. The two would train together with the intent of discovering new power, and both of them would discover their own. They emerge from the chamber with the beards, and the tourney is literally identical to in canon, except for Piccolo never getting eliminated by Frost, and so he just kind of powers through everybody up until it hit. Piccolo just gets bopped, and Goten would try and follow up, however he would get bopped as well, and this would then lead into Vegeta vs. Hit, which would be completely different from its canonical version. Vegeta would reveal his new limit-breaking power to Hit, and this would be the first time we see Blue Evolution in action. Vegeta by this point for sure would have learned this due to him being Super Saiyan Blue for years now, and Goku and Vegeta would use each other to break their limits, and this allows Vegeta to ascend. We know that Blue Evolution is relative to Kaioken times 20, while Hit had to adapt off of Blue Goku, and then a Kaioken times 10. So here Vegeta is actually way more powerful than Hit, and he manages to overpower his time skip and knock him out of the ring. Champa's Earth is still brought back, and the Universe 6 arc concludes. Now we would get into the Goku Black arc, or I guess in this timeline, the Vegeta Black arc, who still kills future Bulma and horrifies future Trunks, even worse than in canon, because he's literally seeing his own father murder his mother. Instead of waking up and initially trying to hit Goku, he would initially try to hit Vegeta thinking it's Vegeta Black, and he would explain what happened in his timeline, and Vegeta would spar with Trunks, slapping him in his SSJ form with ease. This leads into Vegeta Black arriving, with Vegeta combating him in his Blue Evolution state instead of Goku, who goes SSJ. However, it kind of balances out as Black Vegeta is based off a stronger Vegeta in this timeline, and so him getting beaten up by Blue Evolution Vegeta is only just going to be making him stronger, and Black would say this before being warped back into the future timeline. Vegeta would be pissed off because he was just about to kill Black too. Goku, Beerus, and Whis still go out to Universe 10 while Vegeta and Trunks would train on Earth, and they would still head into the future timeline where they would then encounter Black, who in my opinion would have discovered the difference between God Ki and Normal Ki, because he would definitely take note of Vegeta's form due to this form not only being used in the God tournament that he was watching with Gowasu, but also how he could sense Trunks' power when he transformed into a Super Saiyan, but this form of Vegeta's he couldn't sense. And like how I said, this only resulted in Black getting stronger, and this would lead into him also adapting and obtaining his own form. Not Super Saiyan Rose, a form even above that. An evolved state of Rose, or I guess you could call it Rose Evolution. Rose Evolution would prove to be too much for Blue Evolution Vegeta, and like in canon, Vegeta loses and Goku and Trunks get jumped, and Vegeta Black would also remark how he not only killed Vegeta's entire family, but also wiped out Goku's. Goku enraged would unleash the Kaioken times 20, as Trunks would also unlock a new power within him, which would be Super Saiyan Rage. This is because Vegeta Black mentioned the fact that, he killed Trunks' family personally, and Trunks isn't going to let this slide again. He's not going to be killing anyone else. Goku in his times 20 state would prove to be no match, and even Trunks tries to jump in, and Vegeta, even after recovering a little bit, tries to jump in, but even 3v1ing Rose Vegeta gets them nowhere. This leads into Trunks trying to stall and do his best against Zamasu, while Vegeta falls to Vegeta Black and reverts into his base form. Goku also falls into his base form, and Black just laughs, saying how he's going to be murdering Goku and Vegeta again. And maybe after they destroy this timeline, they could head into the present timeline and kill Vegeta and Goku's actual family. He seemingly kills them with a Rose Gallic gun that is too strong for Goku or Vegeta to try and hold back, and they are seemingly turned into dust, and this would enrage Trunks further, and he would get ready to die fighting these two. As this happens though, the area begins to rumble, with Goku then suddenly arriving in a blinding light. Trunks sees Goku in a state he's seen nothing like before, and Goku also is revealed to be holding Vegeta, showing that he grabbed himself and Vegeta out of the way of the blast. Somehow he managed to gain the strength to dodge this attack with ease. And now he's reached a level of power he never thought he could achieve. Goku would be trying to kill Rose Evolution Vegeta, and this version of Goku would prove to be even too much for Rose Evolution Vegeta himself. And as Vegeta is trying to adapt, Goku in his Ultra Instinct form is also adapting, meaning Vegeta doesn't have a way to progress above his opponent like Goku Black, and so Goku would inevitably kill him, and this would lead into the three of them still heading back into the present timeline due to future Zamasu being unkillable. However, they would all learn the Mafuba and not forget the pot, and eventually they go back and they would seal Zamasu. There's literally no way for them to get fused Zamasu, so that can't happen, and inevitably Zamasu is just going to be sealed, and no future Trunks timeline is destroyed here. Trunks thanks them for their help, and he would then depart off into his timeline. So after the Goku Black arc and everything leading up into the TOP, Goku would have been training with Whis trying to control his Ultra Instinct power, and the Goku and Hit rematch never happens. This tournament will be having the same team, except Gohan will be replaced by Goten, and Trunks in this timeline would be replacing Frieza. However, this doesn't really matter, and you'll see why here in a minute. Firstly, let's talk about how strong everybody is right now. Goku and Vegeta by this point would have surpassed their TOP selves, long surpassed them. I mean, Goku and Vegeta in all honesty should be rivaling that of Omen 3 Goku due to having so many years to train with God Ki. And if you think that's a stretch, I disagree, at least for Goku's sake, because I think you can maybe argue Vegeta might not be that strong, but for Goku, I definitely disagree. I mean, we see how much stronger Goku gets after using Ultra Instinct, and after so much training on top of this boost, definitely think for Goku at least, it's possible. Things are really similar to in canon, except for Frost and Frieza obviously teaming up. Instead, Trunks and Goten probably take on Frost when Frost is trying to get revenge on Piccolo, but the kids would just take care of him this time, and they would also eliminate Vegeta and Botamo alongside with Frost. Our first real change comes when Goku first fights Jiren. Goku is able to force Jiren to use a lot more of his power due to his Kaioken Blue times 20 being relative with his Omen 3 state. However, he is overwhelmed in the end, and Goku would try to use the Universe 7 Spirit Bomb. Now, we know that Omen 3 Goku and Jiren were literally adapting off each other and just growing, and Jiren by the end was forced to use his absolute full power, so imagine Goku, who is already relative to the Goku who can force Jiren to use a lot of his power, now getting amped by Universe 7 and using a Spirit Bomb on top of this. Yeah, not looking too good for Jiren, and especially since he already exerted a lot of his power when already fighting Goku. With this Spirit Bomb, it would be more than enough to take on Jiren, and if Jiren somehow is able to deflect the Spirit Bomb back at Goku, we already know what happens then. He just goes Ultra Instinct and eliminates him. Regardless, Jiren's demise is inevitable, and I would definitely prefer if the Spirit Bomb defeated them here, because when in a scenario has that ever happened? Anyways, after this, Universe 7 can literally clean house. If Caulifla and Kale try to jump Goku, worst case scenario, Goku just goes Ultra Instinct against Kefla, or unironically, he can just use Kaioken times 20 Blue to defeat them, or Vegeta can just intervene and defeat him himself. Other than Goku, Vegeta is the strongest on Universe 7 and is relative with the Goku that was pressing this version of Jiren, so he would be the second strongest in the tournament, and so he would just carry Universe 7 while Goku's fatigued. Toppo gets folded before he can unleash his god power, Dispo also gets eliminated, and even if Oniraza tries to form, Vegeta by himself can take him on, and not to mention we have other members like Android 17, Goten, Trunks, etc. Like, Universe 7 is not losing here, and as for Broly, well, Berry Blue just sets it up instead of Frieza, and Goku and Vegeta beat up Broly, so he can't further adapt. Paragus is never killed, and they just vibe on Vampa thanks to Goku. Also, we could have Paragus and Vegeta settle their beef, with Vegeta saying he isn't his father, so Paragus shouldn't act like he is. And Moro unironically probably dies earlier before he can drain Goku or Vegeta, because they're just so much stronger. And as for the Granolah arc, I don't really see too many changes occurring here due to him wishing himself to be the strongest, so yeah, I don't really see too many changes here, and I'm just going to be leaving the video off here for now, ladies and gentlemen, as the finale. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you are new to the channel, hit the bell icon, that way you are notified and updated when I upload, and follow me on Twitter, that will be linked in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Tylearn. I'll see you guys in the next one.